Ready?
Connection.
Always, always.
Always.
Uh-huh.
I am ready
Okay.
and rolling.
You ready?
And whenever you like.
Okay. So Tanya, tell me a little bit about the legacy of hope you're going to be talking about today in overcoming the struggle of domestic violence.
You know, these luncheons and these events are so great because it keeps the conversation alive. I just want these conversations to continue after today and throughout the year, and not just in October. But I'm just so blessed to be a part of it because Nicole died for a reason. And I'm not going to allow anybody to waste her loss and that pain. So if I can lend her name and my ability to speak publicly without getting shy or nervous, I'm going to do it because she has woken up the world on this dirty little secret. So I'm blessed. I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to be Nicole's sister because she's really keeping the conversation in the forefront of all of our communities nationwide.
Share a little bit about the impact of domestic violence on the family, on the siblings after, you know, the funeral, after all that has died down. What is the impact?
Oh boy, loss is never easy anyways, no matter how a person goes, whether it's a murder or a natural cause, it's never easy. But then on top of it, having it be so publicized. And that made it even more difficult, but and we all kind of went through it our own separate ways. But there were moments there where the family was separated. We always came together at night, but emotionally we were very separated. Not all the time. I mean, we'd come together and we'd share memories and we'd laugh, but you know, when you grieve, you fight and there's tension and you know, there's disagreements, and then on top of it, we had the Nicole Brown Foundation. So there was just a lot of struggles there and a lot of challenges. So it's not just because of the domestic violence, but it's also because the grief was so public, and we also had to put on that face that, hey, you know what? We're the strong family. We're going to get through this. People are listening to us. So our mission and our focus became. Well, mostly for my sister and for my dad. The foundation primarily was theirs. With me, I just needed to cry and be sad, and I just wasn't ready to do any type of outreach. But having said that, it was you know, I've got to go back now 20 years because that's kind of a challenging question because I've got to go back there 20 years. You do the whole, well, like, why didn't I see this? Why didn't I see it coming? Why weren't we educated on this? Well, we didn't come from a family where we heard mom and dad fight. They've been married for 58 years. My dad just died in July. But never, ever heard my dad and mom fight. Never. Not even bicker. I mean, I really come from not a perfect family, but pretty darn close. A house full of love and compassion and support. I'm blessed in that way. So this was really unfamiliar to me. So you do question, like, why didn't I see it? Why didn't I know about this thing called domestic violence? I wrote in my book, Finding Peace Amid the Chaos, My Escape from Depression and Suicide. Looking back in hindsight, there are moments where now I go, that's why she had fear in her eyes. That's why she didn't go to the White House for lunch or for dinner. That's why she probably wore her sunglasses during the evening and inside the house. You know, so looking back, there were signs now, but you don't know what you don't know. And so, you know, you do put a lot of self-blame. Why didn't I see that? Why didn't I do anything? But you don't know what you don't know. So that's why I don't have guilt, because guilt will ruin you and it will hold you down. So I've had to go through a lot of therapy in the psych ward to really face all of that and understand that, you know, let go of that pain, let go of that guilt, because you don't know what you don't know.
And you know what, I'm glad you brought that up because you went through mental illness, and as you say in your book, you not only lost Nicole, you lost 6 of your friends as well. You dealt with a lot.
Yeah.
What drives you you came out of that, but you know what, you didn't just stay there. You said, I want to give back. I want to go tell other people about it. I want to help people. What drives your passion to give back and do exactly what you're doing today?
You know what? It took me 10 years. It took me 10 years to get the courage to say, you know what? I almost tried to kill myself, and it was interrupted. And it took 10 years to really be vocal about that. But I was approached in 2011 by a man who said, hey, let's write a book. And I said, okay, let's write a book. I had no idea I had a story in me. But I'm one who was born to help other people and be there for other people and lift people up. I've always, despite my own struggles and challenges and pain of grief and loss and chaos, finding peace amid the chaos, story of my life. But it's, I don't want to waste a hurt. And I think what really sealed the envelope was this last February, actually February of last year, my girlfriend from high school found her daughter hanging in her closet. And then that's when I went, okay, you know what, this hit a little bit too close to home. And that's what sealed the envelope for me, is when Carissa ended up taking her own life. And she was a 22-year-old, peaceful, lovely girl. Never met her. I just know of her through my girlfriend. And that really, really resonated with me. And then I began to do a lot of outreach with substance addiction and recovery homes and battered women's shelters, of course. Domestic violence, substance addiction, depression, suicide, it all goes together. So my main message to the public now, I mean, along with domestic violence, of course, but there's a new conversation happening where we really need to take care of our mental health to prevent depression, to prevent anxieties and suicides and overwhelm. Because women who come out of the domestic violence situations with their children, they're stressed and they're anxious. And they're like, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my kid? They're going to get re-victimized in the court system, most likely. So it's like you've got all these challenges that are going through their minds. And if I can be a messenger of hope on how to implement self-care every single day, that overwhelm will not go away, but you'll be able to go through it with a lot more ease. Because people are taking their own lives every single day because they don't see hope. So for any domestic violence survivor, for any mom, any dad, any loved one who's really struggling, I'm a lucky one. I'm owning that, and I'm not going to waste that. I'm on this side of the dirt now to tell people and to share with them emphatically, you don't need to end up in a psych ward to learn how to really implement self-care for good mental health.
Wow, one thing I've read about you, and I see it right now, I'm feeling it. You have been given a gift, I believe, to change the perception. People listen to you, and they change the perception of, well, I can go get help. Needing help is not a shameful thing. And there's such a shame sometimes associated with mental illness and getting that help.
Yeah.
You seem to be a powerful tool to kind of flip the script on that perception.
Who cares if you need to go on medication? Take it. Nobody needs to know. Your partner doesn't need to know. Your kids don't need to know. If a pill is going to save your life, take it. Take it. I'm on medications. I need it. If I notice that I need to change my dosage, I am my own advocate. I talk to my doctor and say, hey, listen, I'm going through some real challenging times. My alternative tools really aren't working so well. My meditation, my exercise, there's something else going on right now. My dad died in July, so I had to monitor those, monitor that emotion. So I don't rely on the medications, but people do need medications, but they also need coping skills on how to get through life, because medication, a pill, isn't going to prevent anything. It will help ease it, but it's not going to prevent. So I'm very vocal, and I have been given a gift, and I'm not bragging about that, but the reason why I'm using that is because there's somebody listening to this right now who relates on some level. And I want to change the conversation. It's not the homeless person standing on the corner talking to themselves anymore. It's not that person. It's the person like me who holds a job, who has a career, who takes care of a family. My dad, we were caretakers for my dad. I'm a functioning person throughout society, right? So it's not the homeless person. And that's what it used to be. And in the psych ward, I was in there with a pro athlete. She wrote the foreword for my book, Kate Hughes. She's an ex-LPGA player. And she's proud. She has bipolar disorder, and she's talking about it out loud with the LPGA, and we're going to be hopefully doing some outreach with them too. So it happens to everybody, and I just want people to understand that do what you need to do to get help, to have hope, because you have a family, you have friends, people love you, you matter. And I think that's really what's missing in today's world, is letting people know that they matter.
Is that a key to your piece?
Yeah, people need to know they matter. In Southern California, there's a woman who started a blue ribbon campaign, and it's called Who I Am Makes the Difference. And it's differencemakersinternational.org. And it's a little blue ribbon that says, Who I Am Makes the Difference. And she goes into all the school systems. She's been honored by presidents and the Dalai Lama for all of her work. And she just simply goes around town, and she posts these blue ribbons on everybody and letting people know that they matter. And this was a really lovely story. About 3 or 4 months ago. I'm crossing the street in Southern California. You have a lot of homeless, and I'm crossing the street, but I saw a homeless man asking for money, and I didn't have any cash on me. And I just said, you know, sir, I don't have any money on me. I said, but I just want to let you know who you are makes a difference. That's all I said. I didn't have the blue ribbon on me. I didn't have anything with me. And then I was at the stoplight, and he tapped my shoulder, and he says, you know what? It's the nicest thing somebody said to me in a really long time. Wow. And that just was an indication that people aren't told enough that they matter. Maybe if we do more of that, we'd see less bullying, less violence, more respect. I think respect for self, respect for others. I think we need to bring back the old school way of life. I think we're too connected to technology and not enough to ourselves and our community.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. I can't wait to hear you today. I'm just going to 2 shots.